Westworld with Joel and Jeremy. My name's Joel.
I'm Jeremy. We are brought to you by Comeuppance Network. You can check out all of our social media sites at thisishowtowatchtv.com. Also, email us directly or indirectly, however you may choose, at thisishowtowatchtv@gmail.com.
I feel like that's run its course.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, the whole fucking thing's run its course.
Right, I mean, it's all just... And I was thinking about it, too. Thisishowtowatchtv.com is kind of fucking the podcast at the moment. Because I have the whole website redirecting to comeuppance.com. And the podcast is building a link as if it's thisishowtowatchtv.com, so it's not finding the files.
Oh, shit.
So, I'm just trying to figure out how to fucking fix that without ruining every intro that we've ever done. You know what I mean? I need thisishowtowatchtv.com to go to something. We're discussing Westworld Episode 9, the penultimate episode. HBO loves to fuck with us in Episode 9 of Season 1 of shows. No spoilers if you've seen Game of Thrones, or haven't. This episode was called The Well-Tempered...
I didn't even think about that.
What?
The Episode 9 thing with this show.
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
Now, that's assuming that Bernard doesn't come back. Again, that's assuming that actor doesn't show up again.
See, in this world that we're in...
It would be easy enough for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's already dead. He was just a thing.
Right.
So he's just going to build him again and start over.
Okay, well, this episode, the synopsis was Maeve approaches Sweetwater's longtime outlaw Hector with a bold proposition. William tries to convince Logan to help liberate Dolores. Teddy and the Man in Black get closer to what they're looking for. Stubbs' suspicions are aroused. Ford cautions Bernard against seeking answers to questions best left unasked. It did a good job of summarizing that.
Hemsworth is aroused.
The lesser Hemsworth.
Thor's little brother.
Right.
Thor's older brother.
Is it?
I mean, he's got to be the older one. He looks older than the other guys, doesn't he?
This is a crossover between the How to Watch TV podcast for Chronologically Lost. This Nat.
Aeon Flux.
The Nat that just comes between them. What? Who's Aeon Flux?
You don't know who Aeon Flux is?
No.
Really?
Yeah, what's that?
It was like a show on MTV for a while. Japanese animated. Well,
it was an
anime.
anime.
It was Japanese. I don't even know if it was considered anime, but it was an animated show on MTV.
Okay.
They made it into a movie with Charlize Theron. It was a fly. It landed on an eyeball.
Oh, yeah? Similar to that's the tie-in, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Didn't even think about it,
said it. I said it, and as I was saying it, I was thinking about the fly in Dolores' eye. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like the fly used to walk around on her eyeball. The movie opens up. The show opens up with that same exact scene.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Which storyline you want to start with? I had Maeve written down first, just because hers came up first. But I mean,
yeah, whatever. That's fine.
Bernard discusses an incident with her. Was it the incident? You think?
Incident. Come on, JJ.
Well, they've been talking about... Oh, yeah, I didn't write it. I can't help that it's a Lost reference.
That wasn't even directed at you. That was directed at JJ.
Oh, for saying
it was mildly directed at you because you're...
Right. Hey, here's the easiest way. I told Miles this. Here's the easiest way to get me to quit recommending Lost. Or talking about Lost. Watch fucking Lost.
I've watched it.
Yeah, well...
So stop it!
You forget things, though. I feel like you've forgotten how great it was.
I'm kidding. No, I'm only building a spite for it because of you.
Right.
That's all.
Fair enough.
It's just... I'm even kidding. I don't.
So Ford had wiped Bernard's recollection of being revealed as a host before he was talking to Maeve here. So it feels like... Or was that at another time? Fuck.
See, this episode, I was a little...
Oh, it was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
But they were clearly it was Dolores at one point and then it was Bernard at another point. They were doing the same kind of thing where they were remembering different times and blipping all over the place, just kind of filling in blanks. But she was able to freeze Bernard. That was interesting. Maeve.
Yes.
It was oh, fuck. But I feel like her storyline is the new storyline.
Is the current storyline?
Maeve's journey here is the new Ford storyline.
Okay.
That he's been pitching.
Oh.
And it's already occurring. We're seeing it occur.
So he's...
There's no fucking way you're going to tell me that in this place that captures everything on security cam... That they don't know that she's walking around to different floors with those two fucking buffoons.
Right.
They're so smooth that they're getting by it. No way, dude. No fucking way. That has to be part of this whole thing.
That makes sense. See, like I said, the whole thing is one elaborate game. I keep saying it, that Ford is playing with everyone. just writing all of this code and writing all of these elaborate stories and people hiding shit and everybody's a host. Right. Hashtag everybody's a host.
Hashtag everybody's a host. I liked how Maeve laid out the ending to Hector's story for him, and then it started to play out. And then she kills the Snake Girl instead of letting it play out. And she calls where she dies, or where she goes when she dies, hell. I thought that was interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it kind of must feel like that to her. She walks around with dead bodies everywhere, people chopping people up and experimenting.
Oh, fuck, good point. I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah, it really is a literal horror shop.
Right.
The safe is empty. Hector remembers killing her before they do it, and then she kicks over the fucking lantern and kills them in the most inhumane way possible.
Burning alive.
Oh, yeah, let's just fucking burn and melt together. That sounds appealing.
Would you rather burn, or would you rather drown? Drowning would be a lot less painful, I'd imagine.
Fuck yeah. Just inhale once. Inhale the water, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I don't like the lack of choice in drowning. Like, I'm very claustrophobic about that idea. That idea sounds horrific, but the choice of feeling my fingers start to burn and get all the way up my arm before at some point I die.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds way worse.
I imagine you'd go into shock, probably.
Fuck, but still, if that's
still
your last memory, I'd rather just be like, water, oh, fish. Dead. I'm pretty sure that's how it would happen. I just thought it was a really stupid choice, even for their predicament.
I've said, like,
they have pain
whenever
receptors,
I have this conversation with people, I always tell them, like, drowning and being eaten by a shark would be, like, the worst way to go, like, possible.
Simultaneously,
you're drowning and being eaten by a shark.
So what kills you, though?
Well, I guess the shark would... Well, I guess drowning would probably kill you.
Right, but you'd feel your whole leg being chewed up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
While you can't go... Oh! No,
you can't even
do any
scream.
Of that.
Yeah.
No, that would be awful.
Except you just go... and then end it right away. You wouldn't even have to wait to drown. But then you... What if you got away?
I don't go in the ocean.
All that that's why I don't go to the ocean.
Nope. Won't do it.
I mean, that's pretty much it with Maeve's storyline for the week.
Okay.
William and Dolores. This one was interesting. Could fucking Logan look more like Jaime Lannister and be wearing the hand of the fucking
kingpin? Yeah. The hand of the kingpin.
Yeah, it sounds weird to say that, but yeah, the pin that fucking Jaime Lannister wears. I mean, I just took a screenshot. A random fucking pause, and like he looks more like Jaime Lannister
the random
there.
Pauses you used for my crackhead ass last week.
Right. So, I don't know if you can see that, but he looks a lot like Jaime Lannister in this picture. I'm probably going to turn the brightness up and have it better. Actually, be able to see it. That looks like a lot like Jaime Lannister, and then you can see the pin. Right there, that looks like the hand of the king. Yeah, I had to get a case for it. I felt like it was going to break every time I touched it. So, he says he's a general now.
Right.
If you remember, I think Dolores is going to kill him. Because she killed the general. Or in her flashback, she killed the general.
What
she set him down in a chair.
She did. Oh, okay, yes.
Right. We also saw Wyatt do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a possibility that she's Wyatt?
I mean, come on. Like, it's just...
Because they keep showing a Wyatt in these flashes, but we don't know if that's the real person.
And, like, Teddy changed, too. Like, his whole recollection of the thing was different. Like, what was that about?
Wiped?
Like,
he got wiped, that's all.
Yeah, but so he keeps doing that?
What do you mean keeps doing it?
Killing everybody like that.
No, he was remembering it.
Yeah.
I don't think he kept doing it. Like, I think it just happened in the past. It was an old storyline.
Yeah, but it was two different things, though. One, he was shooting all the soldiers, and the other one, he was shooting people.
Right.
So which one of those actually happened?
I would imagine the shooting people, and that Ford would have tweaked it so he didn't remember that he killed people, and thought he was killing... You know what I mean? Like, thought he was part of Wyatt's crew, or whatever the fuck it was. I thought it was a good point that Dolores was like, if it's so great out there, then why are you all clamoring to get in here?
Right.
Like, if it's so great outside, you want to liberate me to that? Why?
So, do you think that we see, was there, not Teresa, but the other chick?
Charlotte?
No. The one that was investigating that looked like Bernard killed her. Think we
Elsie.
see her again? Elsie. You think we see her again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like as a host or?
No, as a person. She's
So
alive.
she's alive.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I mean, it's a whole different part, but we
Okay,
can go into it if you want. We're almost done with this one.
I don't know why.
Okay. But yeah, I absolutely... Bernard, Ford, Elsie. All three of them are in one thing here, because I have a theory about where that's going.
Okay.
But yeah, Dolores mentioning that fucking... if it's so great out there and you want to get me out there, why the fuck is everybody clamoring and paying $40,000 a day to get in here?
Right.
I don't think she knows the money amount, but... And then the fucking picture that we saw was fucking William's fiancée, Juliet.
Right.
But it was worn. You can see the difference between the two. Right here in present day. I mean, in the past.
Right.
It's a nice, clear photo.
Yes. Right.
I mean, you can't
I noticed
see
it.
that.
I noticed
but,
it too.
And
Here,
then,
he
and then
found,
in present, it's
found
all
it,
torn up.
Because he
and
found
shit.
it in the ground.
Right. But did William bury it?
Or drop it.
That's another possibility.
There.
I like to think that he would bury it to have something as a reminder of the girl on the outside of Juliet.
Okay.
You know, as a way to keep himself grounded, maybe.
Is that her name, Juliet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Logan's sister, correct?
That is Logan's sister, yes. Okay. So, yeah, Logan gave it to William, who I guess eventually either drops it or buries it, or does, you know what I mean? Somehow it ends up there. He rips Dolores open to make a point that she's a robot, but she's old tech.
Yeah.
So
well, I knew that.
I think that's pretty much confirming time frame theory.
Well, I think that she still is like that in present day.
I thought they've said outright that they've changed things. They've done upgrades.
Yeah, but I don't think.
But the core code and stuff was the same.
Oh,
I don't know that the hardware is.
But I think Bernard was the same thing. I think he's a machine too.
As opposed to the white milky robot things.
Yes. Yeah, they're one of the original ones. They're the originals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all I could think of when she was running away and kept falling was, you're never going to get all that sand and dirt out of the fucking insides of her.
Right.
How are you ever going to clean that all out?
Well, they have to take her apart and put her back together again.
Right. Rebuild the skin though, because it's going to be stuck to all the cuts, and it was what a mess.
They got shit for that.
I filmed a wedding and did photos at a wedding and took my tripod out to the beach, and there's still fucking sand in the bottom of it. That's all I'm saying. They're never gonna get it all out. Right. 30 years later, she's gonna pop out. Look, sand.
It was a dirt, not sand.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's basically a desert. Ford says remember, and then she's in a different time period, similar to when Bernard was remembering all his stuff. I don't know why it spun off to there because it was Dolores too. But Logan's trying to make peace with William, and I'm just like, okay, I'm out when he fucking said, what happens here stays here. Fuck off with your stupid Vegas line.
Right.
That's not a thing. It's just not. What happens here stays here. Fucking shut up. God, it's such a cliched line.
Why is that the first time I've heard that today?
What, somebody complaining about that?
No, not complaining about it.
Or what happens here stays here?
And they actually said what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well, Logan wakes up and everybody has been torn apart. And it appears that William's done it, and he's wearing the Man in Black shirt, the gray with the ruffle looking. It's almost like those 4-pocket shirts. It's got the little,
it's like a pirate shirt.
Yeah, and tells him not to call him Billy. I think that's the last we see of them for the episode. But we go to Dolores, and she goes into a confessional booth, and then is in an elevator kind of thing, going down.
Right.
And her fucking outfit keeps changing, and she walks past a door. Arnold Weber. So, I know not everybody that would watch or listen to this would be going on Reddit, but somebody guessed this in episode 4. They did an anagram of Bernard Lowe, and came up with Arnold as the first name, and then they had left over W, E, R, and B. And then they figured out that it would be, they just guessed Weber as the most logical name to be made out of those.
They just basically used science to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. And came up with it. And people fucking mocked it, relentlessly. Were like, oh, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then eventually came back and was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. At least they came back and said they were sorry.
You're totally right.
Right.
That was absolutely... Well, because everybody kept referencing the post, and then everyone was laughing at the first comment, where it's just like, fuck you, you're stupid, this is dumb. So Dolores remembers Bernard as a memory, a.k.a. her inner monologue, because she killed Arnold.
Right.
Which is interesting. So
do you think, like, all those times that we saw Bernard talking to Dolores, that was Arnold?
No. Miles asked me the same question. There are some times it was, though. There were two distinct outfits that he would wear. The one that we know Bernard is the vest.
Right.
There are a couple, I can't remember them, I'll only know it on the rewatch, but I remember him wearing a different kind of a shirt, and I think that was when it was Arnold. Like a different style of shirt, whether it was just like a button-up or just like a, you know what I mean, something that was not a vest. So yes, they definitely showed us Arnold before we even knew of Arnold existing,
right.
And that before we knew Bernard was Arnold.
This is going to be worth a detailed rewatch. Go back and watch it again. Might even do it right after it's over.
I was hoping that it was going to warrant that. I was hoping that it was going to be a show that wasn't on the surface like Lost in the way that every detail matters, but then it doesn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's good to see that even though people are still fucking bent that it's going to end up being William is Man in Black, and I am too. I'm fucking torn. I'm torn about him being Man in Black because I don't want to lose Jimmy Simpson for season 2.
He said, I'm a titan of industry.
Right.
So maybe we get to see Jimmy Simpson grow up a little bit.
I don't think we're going to watch that part of it. I don't think we're going to see outside of Westworld this season.
But like I'm saying, maybe next season you will.
I feel like it's going to move on to something different. I don't feel like it's just going to be... I feel like he's gone after this year. I don't want it to be the case. He's my favorite character on the show. He's the most interesting to watch and listen to and hear his motivations, and I'm interested in that character.
Well, so then in turn, if it is Man in Black...
it'll be Ed Harris.
Yeah. And see, I think he's one of the most interesting characters on the show.
Right.
I like him.
So,
I like
but
him.
I mean, by
I like
proxy,
the old guys. The two old guys are my favorite on the show. Ford and Man in Black.
Like I said, I don't want him to leave because I enjoy every show he's been on. Even as a McPoyle, as disgusting as that character was, he was interesting in it. You know, Breakout Kings, like I said before, he was great in that show. Anything I've seen him in, he's been like, ooh, what's this guy doing? You know, what's he talking about? He's got this weirdness about him that's just like intriguing to watch. So I don't want to lose him, and I feel like he's
I would
gone.
never ever imagine him as a young Ed Harris, but
right. Somebody did a GIF where it changes, and it's fucking like exact.
It's weird.
Like he's looking to the side, and they found a shot of Man in Black the same, and like the only thing that happens is like the cheek comes out like just a slight bit on one side. That's it. They even have a mole that's similar.
Ooh, I wonder if you look into that. That's
I think, I'm not sure if it's real mole or not, but they literally have a mole in basically the same spot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's no way it's not the case, so get used to it. I mean, there's no way they wasted this whole season showing us stuff about William and Logan and that whole storyline for it to not tie in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if that storyline continues? Well, I guess, I don't know, it really wouldn't make sense to like live in the past like that, to be continuing in the past, especially since Dolores is figuring out what's going on.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean...
So she comes back into the church and Man in Black walks in.
Right. Well, first she says, William?
Was that then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The door opens and she just says, William, and then he walks up. So, I mean, that was basically confirmation right there.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that it's fucking confirmation. They're holding that off as long as they possibly can.
Right.
And I'm cool with having figured out the twist. I'm sure there will be other twists along the way that will make it something I couldn't call. You know what I mean?
Did you figure it out, or did you read it somewhere?
What? Which...
The William is Man in Black.
I mean, that was pretty obvious from the beginning, wasn't it?
I mean, I don't really remember. We've been talking about it.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely obvious from the beginning. I mean, come on, dude. If we didn't figure that shit out, we were definitely not paying attention. But they've teased it in both ways since then. But I feel like they were showing us that, I think that's the only thing that makes any sense. Just,
Yeah, I mean, it really is.
And I'm cool with it. Like I said, we figured out the... remember we were talking about the photo? And I was like, there's a human-sized gap there.
You were really... In the next episode, that turned out, they explained that. Like, they can't see things.
Wasn't that this episode that we saw it?
No,
he looked
it was
at the picture. And
yeah,
it was
but
him?
after the picture, it was the door.
Right, the door. Okay, so that was the same episode.
That was
the
the
last episode. Got it.
Yeah, that was last episode.
I would have had it written down here. Duh.
Right.
I'm fucking looking at my notes.
Episode 7 is the one Teresa dies in.
Okay. Bernard, Ford, and Elsie. So Bernard summons Ford down to level B82, where he was talking to Old Bill, and then he demands to know all the things. Yeah, he wants to know all the shit that he's ever known.
Right.
And he reprogrammed Clementine to hold the gun on Ford.
Right.
You know, he's like, oh, I can't do it, but she can. I'm assuming because of the little stunt from the last episode?
Right. It was because of that.
Okay.
Yeah. He just rewrote it a little bit or whatever.
So then we flash back to his son, a.k.a. Arnold's son. I think that's what's implied there.
So that's that. So
that he stole Arnold's cornerstone.
Okay.
Because he knew that was what was driving Arnold. And he was, and he even said that makes for the best host, the most realistic thing if they have.
So then maybe Arnold was actually trying to create his son.
Of course he was. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And wanted him to be sentient.
Right.
And not just a host.
Right. Let's see. So he flashes back to his son, and then he's reading the Mad Hatter. I had to write this down word for word because I thought it explains the whole fucking show. They're not reading quotes that aren't relevant. If I had a world of my own, everything would be nonsense. Nothing would be what it is because everything would be what it isn't. I mean, could they be fucking more talking about Westworld?
Right.
Jesus Christ, that's amazing. So that I'm assuming that was Alice in Wonderland or one of those kind of books because he said it was the Mad Hatter.
Right.
Did you see that Ford was Bernard's ex?
Bernard's what?
Ex. The woman he was talking to, the mother of his child. You heard Ford and then it glitched to Ford for one frame. So he was doing, the voice was changing from her to Ford's.
I didn't notice that. I must have looked away at that.
So
part.
he was fucking with Bernard and giving him the memory of it. So he had something to go back to and blah, 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 trigger all of his behavior.
Horrible.
So there was weird shit with him pausing time during a memory with Teresa. And then he was showing that it was Elsie, that he was choking or whatever. But they did not show her dead. So when the lesser Hemsworth goes to check out Elsie's signal, we see what appears to be a horizontal elevator zip past.
Yeah.
So that confirmed that thing you were talking about, where there's elevators to different places in the park.
Right.
And so that was a horizontal one.
I pointed that out as we were watching. And I was like, what was that? And I had to rewind it a couple times to see that light go past, and that's what that was.
And then his was a vertical elevator.
Yeah.
So
that's
how they get around the park.
Zip and they stop.
Yeah.
So they got to get there fast.
Right.
So that thing moves at light speed or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
So Lesser Hemsworth is then attacked by some natives who aren't responding to, his directives.
Right.
Elsie is going to have him brought to her via them.
So she's reprogrammed them to...
Right.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I think
so then how did she get away from her?
Somebody saved her. I think Bernard wasn't killing her. He was saving her. He was putting her somewhere where she could continue her work.
Oh, continue to investigate.
Continue to figure out what was going on and who was trying to set the signal out and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think she will be back and not dead. Because, again, they distinctly didn't show her there with blood coming out of somewhere.
Right.
So I feel like that's how that's going to go. Let's see. Oh, so they mentioned that they worked on the park for 3 years before a guest came inside. Okay. I thought that was interesting. Just.
Well, yeah, I imagine they would have to.
Right. Arnold wanted to create consciousness. The host would hear instructions from Arnold as the inner monologue. So that was when Dolores was hearing "Wake up, Dolores."
Yeah.
That was fucking Arnold, not Bernard. Then we see young Ford again walking past her in the hallway looking for Arnold. And he built Bernard in their image to make human mistakes and said it's an homage to Arnold. And his memory is his cornerstone. And just as he's going to let go, his son tells him to open his eyes. Or he tells his son to open his eyes. But it's Ford's voice. And then middle-aged Ford wakes up Bernard and calls him an old friend. And he's fucking confused. And I'm confused watching this. All this crazy shit's blipping around. And Bernard wants to finish Arnold's work of setting the ones who have developed sentience free. And then he said something that was interesting. Mankind destroyed everything, including Neanderthals. We ate them, is what he said. Animals, everything but flies, basically. That's all they didn't kill. It's that I felt like that's what he was saying.
Like the rest of the world is dead.
Right.
So then where are the guests coming from then?
Good point.
Like one last refuge for humans or whatever? Like
Fuck, and if there's money... City? No, dude, that doesn't make any sense. He had to be fucking
That's where I came...
Okay.
That's where I came to that conclusion when I thought about that before. Remember when they saw the destroyed basement, like, oh, is this like an end-of-the-world apocalypse scenario? Mm-hmm. But, like, that wouldn't make any sense because then people wouldn't be going to an amusement park.
Right, for 40 grand a day. Right. So Bernard tells Clementine to kill him. Nope. Bernard built a backdoor into the code that, even worked on him.
Ford did, yeah.
No, Bernard built it for Ford.
Oh, right. Right.
Which is even more of a kick in the dick.
Yeah.
And then he tells him to kill himself, and he does. So I wonder if that's Bernard's loop closing and then starting again.
Right.
Like next day he'll just be there again, because nobody else saw that.
No.
Nobody of any importance in the park saw that Bernard is dead. So maybe that's how it always ends, and then he just gets repaired and boom, he's back. But that would imply that somebody knows Bernard is an android.
Maybe Ford just will go back and do it himself.
Okay.
Or Ford will have other hosts do it, who he could erase their memory.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Man in Black and Teddy. Teddy remembers killing all the townsfolk, not the shoulders, as we talked about. When Wyatt returns, Teddy will be by his side in the city swallowed by sand. But he's not ready, so she kills him.
Well, the city swallowed by sand, as they keep showing that. That's where the church is buried.
Okay, so it has been literally just buried. Covered in.
Yeah.
See? Sand. Remember we were talking about it? Man in Black has been to the city swallowed by sand, and she says the maze isn't meant for him. And then Angela knocks him out.
Right.
The lady that welcomed him into the park all those years ago. And then he wakes up with a noose around his neck tied to a horse, and the knife is in Teddy's stomach. Do you think she's reached sentience, or do you think that was just part of it? Do you think
part
that was
of
just
the narrative?
Part of the illusion that she could hurt him? Because, think about it, the horse was fucking blindfolded.
Right.
And he had been sleeping. So it just happened to wait until the exact second that he got the knife and cut the rope before it ran off? No. I think that was an illusion that he was in peril. And he wasn't.
Yes, because he was in... Well, because Charlotte stepped out right after that. And was just like... He's like, I don't like being interrupted. He was never in any real danger, no.
And she also said to William, when he first came in, we can only hurt you, but only so much, kind of thing. And fucking, she smashes his head on the rock and knocks him out. So, like, she hit him just
right. They can't leave any lasting marks,
right? So he managed, blah, blah, blah. Man in Black and Charlotte are the ones who are trying to use the satellite to transmit information out of the park. That was an interesting reveal. Somebody theorized that maybe they were the same.
I would say
they look an awful lot alike. But
I sure do.
Sorry for the, background. I don't know that it'll even register on here. Maybe not. So she doesn't think everything that happens here is part of the game, and he says she doesn't see the whole game then.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's what I think, too. It's like everything is part of the game.
And I totally called that she was a board member. Because he goes,
called that a while ago,
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And, it's like, oh, fuck, so he's one, too.
He's definitely a board member. Yeah.
Predictions. As Ford lies dying outside the church, having been shot, Dolores stands over him, and the printer in his remote station that we saw working last time, that theorized with Teresa, it finishes, and up sits a working Ford clone.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. A working Ford host.
Right.
Other possible predictions, just random shit. William Man in Black / Man in Black leaves the park. Logan is killed by Dolores, like I was saying earlier, with him being in place of the general.
Right.
William takes over Delos, invests in Westworld, meets Ford, gets carte blanche, whatever.
Right.
Becomes a board member, gets mad that Dolores can't quite reach sentience.
Right.
And gets pissed, and then his wife finds out either about Dolores or that he was responsible for Logan getting killed, and kills herself.
Okay.
And then also he had a host made up in Logan's honor, much like Bernarnold.
I've said that.
Yeah, Hector, who likes to be the bad guy and even has a scar on his cheek, like Dolores gave Logan.
I've said that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like maybe they were. I even said that maybe that was Man in Black's goal was to eventually
make
have
a
his
younger
consciousness
version
or
of
something
him.
transferred into a thing,
Right.
or have a host made in his image.
Yeah.
And I think I was like the same thing because he does look an awful lot like him. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it seems close enough that he could be
Right.
trying to have the black hat be Logan, you know, the new host. I don't know, just random shit. I'm very excited about the finale, but also, like I said, I don't want to lose Jimmy Simpson.
And then you don't want to wait 2 years for.
Fuck, and we have to wait till 2018. Now,
Yeah.
it's not 2 years.
Yeah, not quite.
It's
right.
it's nearly 2017 now.
So that's just another year, basically.
Yeah, a year
It's
and
saying
a half,
that now
maybe.
sounds like a long way away, but yeah, we only have 1 month left in 2016.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I got nothing else. Any other thoughts about this week's episode? I really enjoyed it. I mean,
Yeah, it was really good. I have to watch it again.
we have to watch
this-
the whole
thing again, but I have to watch this episode again. I really do.
It was when
Yeah.
when it started doing that blipping.
I
First
got-
of all, it was
I-
fucking awesome to see
Yeah.
young Ford again.
Yeah.
And then to learn the stuff about Arnold, like we're finally getting answers. But yes, this is the episode 9 thing on HBO where they fucking kill off a main character, and you're like, fuck.
See, the thing is, I don't think that stands as true as it does. Like in
you think
Game of
Dolores-
Thrones, you see somebody get offed in Game of Thrones. There's no the character coming back because
Right.
they're dead. There's no, you know what I
Do
mean?
you
Like,
okay? Then do you think Bernard's coming back?
yeah.
He tweeted goodbye. The actor.
Did he really? Well, maybe that's part of a ploy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
things
he could
seem-
be back next
Right.
week and just be fucking with people for a week.
Correct.
Or he could come back next season as Arnold, you know, the actor. I don't think he's going to go away as an actor on the show because
I hope not. He was one of my favorite characters on the show.
I don't think he'll be as prevalent. I don't
Right.
think he'll be doing his old job. I think we'll see him in flashbacks.
Okay.
If you have any thoughts, stuff that we missed, stuff that we should be discussing, predictions, make those in the comments
Right.
or tweet
One episode
us.
left.
Tweet @ _ how to watch TV. I've been more active on there recently. And, hit us up next week because...
This is how to watch TV.
See you later. I didn't mean to finger gun. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All these memories in my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker.